So quite often after I make a video that's very potent, where I'm chastising people, where I'm demanding that they do things on behalf of God, I feel a certain way, because I'm not a bully. I'm not an insensitive person. I'm a very loving person. Quite often, I make sure that I don't do people wrong. I used to be the one person in my family who would make sure that the plate that was made for me was for me. I say, is that mine? Everyone else would just grab up a plate. And I'm not mad at them for it. I'm pointing out that I would be very careful to do what is fair and just and right, and to not offend anybody within reason. And yes, when I make these videos, sometimes I bother people, okay, at my house. And when I make videos in public, I keep my voice down, okay? And there's a reason for that. So at times like this, I used to describe that I wish that I had a wife that I could hold, and so on and so forth. To some degree, it's helpful to live in the middle of nowhere, because I want to withdraw from society, because I know that they don't accept me as me. They've never accepted me as me, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Now imagine if you were Christ and you were doing what is morally precise, that they don't want me around, and that they feel like I've done them wrong or something by demanding that they do God's work. Can you imagine that? So then I want to kind of move away from them, and kind of be alone and reflect on what's happened, and kind of think out loud, or talk to somebody and say, hey, what do you think? So many times I've said in my videos, and I'll say it again, if you think that I said something wrong, please put it in the comments immediately. If you think I've been too harsh, or you think that I shouldn't be chastising people, make your case. I'm a man of reason. I am the fair king. I detest wrongdoing, because the throne is established in justice. That's how I got here, through justice, through wisdom. Thanks to God Almighty, who created me. I didn't create myself. God created me. And I know that a lot of you have been led astray to a large degree, by evil principles, evil spirits, what have you. And some of you don't like to talk about it. I know some of you are playing some kind of game where you pretend that you're in the right. Okay? And that's part of why at times I don't feel comfortable being around you. But you see me time and time again. I've gone out there. When I was in Santa Cruz and they were hacking my brain, they were fuming me heavily, I started feeling real shy, or something to that effect, real reserved, right? Real kind of stay in my own little zone. But I still went out there, and I still talked to people and say, can I ask you some questions? And I got some people to respond to me over many days. I put myself out there. So one time some cops drove by, they're looking mad. People honking and fuming me and walking by. Downtown Santa Cruz, and this one police officer looked more reasonable than a lot of police officers. He started to kind of stop and see that I was making a video downtown, and I started to bring up the Constitution and how I have a right, and how I'm following the law. And he kind of, and he just drove away, and so on and so forth. And I appreciate him not stopping to give me a hard time when I wasn't breaking the law. But I've gone through a lot of stuff here, and what I'm saying has to be said. I'm certain that it has to be said. And I'm made more certain when you don't respond. When you don't respond, it tells me you're doing the right thing, and they're afraid to respond because of the government. You're doing the right thing, and they live falsehood, and they're not allowed to tell the truth about such an important matter and things like this. This is what it tells me. As my heart aches sometimes, and I wish I could hold a beautiful woman and explain to her, some woman is beautiful and sensitive and gentle, and say, this world is not for us. They reject me because I'm doing the right thing. And some people are racist, some people aren't. Some people are racist in my favor, quote unquote, right? Maybe they're mulatto or black. And this world is full of all kinds of falsehoods and unfairness. And I'm a light in this world. I am the light of justice. I'm the light of Christ. I'm the light of God Almighty. So when this stuff happened today, I told myself, I need to make it clear to these people that I'm still a man, because they're trying to keep me from expressing masculinity in various ways. They want me to feel vulnerable so they can try to terrorize me and try to coerce me into saying things that goes along with their propaganda campaign. But I have to put God Almighty first. Think about all the people who died for God. Even children. Long ago, there was a thin line between a child and an adult because they would expect more from the children in many places. And these children were killed for what they believe. Like all over the world to some degree, they're still killed, but are they in me and am I in them? No, they're all cheating me out of my right to leave, but there's a spectrum of guilt. There's a what? A spectrum of guilt. Now, this video isn't about chastising people. I'm trying not to chastise. I'm trying to explain in this video. I'm trying to explain that I'm really a nice guy, and I'm not trying to take away from that. I want you to understand that. But make no mistake, even the kindest person, the kindest Christian in Darfur or Nigeria, or wherever they may be persecuted, China, wherever it may be, here in America, in Russia, wherever it might be, even the kindest person is cheating me out of my right to leave. I consider what they did and what they didn't do. And I make very difficult decisions that I know I'm right about, but they're difficult because I have to cut people off from heaven who are very kind, who are very gentle, but who did not find the way, the truth, and the life because of what their forefathers and foremothers did, and they're in the spirit. Now, just today, my father told me, he said, that he doesn't believe in collective guilt. He doesn't believe that you should hold the the children accountable for what their parents did, that this is an Old Testament idea, or this, and this. Well, what they're doing is they're continuing the spirit of rebellion. I am the way, the truth, and the life. They're continuing their ways. And not all demons and evil spirits are the same. Some of them are more deceptive than others. Some are kinder than others, if you want to call it that. The word nice, N-I-C-E, can be spelled N-I-S when we're talking about occult wordplay.